this a second try and see if I can say these things correctly this time around. I will say that a couple of years ago, I picked up Empire of the East. Now, this came out right after I had finished reading the Fred Saberhagen trilogy, Empire of the East. And I finished reading it, and almost immediately after, I saw Goodman Games announce that they were going to be putting out this supplement. I was pretty jazzed, pretty excited. I'd really enjoyed the Empire of the East books, and so I was pretty excited to pick this book up when it came out, and I did, and I have to admit I was actually kind of disappointed in it. It's a little thin for the price and for what I was hoping for. When you get into it, there's not a ton of actual like world material. There's just not a lot in here, not as much as I would have wanted. So, and I can't necessarily say exactly what I would have wanted. I just didn't feel like this lived up to my hopes. A couple of adventures, a little bit of world material, but really not a lot to go on. I've heard there's a second printing of this or a second edition of this, either in the works or maybe it's been released. I'm not sure. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know if the world setting, the setting material has been expanded. I really am not sure what that's all about. But I also can't bring myself to drop another $30 to find out. So, so this sits on my shelf. That said, there's useful information in it. I hope to use it either in a Mutant Crawl Classics game, or if I do run the arc of modules for Dungeon Crawl Classics, that will culminate in the transferring over Expedition to the Barrier Peak. If I run that, I'm sure there's probably something in here that I can raid for material. But that's all to say that I did pick up the first adventure for Empire of the East, hoping to perhaps expand a little bit on what's in there. This is a DCC Empire of the East #1, Level 1 adventure by Julian Burnick. If I'm saying that name right, hopefully. This is, let's see, I'll put the information on the back there. I'm not going to hold on for too long. And I'm going to skip the first page, even though it does have some cool art, because it also has a little code on it. So I'm not sure, I haven't read up too much on the adventure that is held within this, but there's, the usual cool art, good maps, overland map. We've got a journey. We've got multiple little, oh, that's pretty cool. Empire of the East is a pretty wild setting, so I'd be really curious to actually get it to a game table at some point. But to be honest, the way I will probably end up using it will be to supplement either DCC or MCC. That'll be probably how I end up doing it. I doubt I will end up taking people to this world, although perhaps. Oh, I like there's some player handouts. That's awesome. I love player handouts. So it's a fairly short scenario, 21 pages, including the player handouts. So yeah, 19 pages to get to the conclusion. I don't know, haven't read it, don't know, didn't read the background on the story or anything like that. But I figured I'd try to support it best I could, hoping that perhaps they will do more Empire of the East material that will flesh it out enough to make the fact that I bought the basic book a little more worthwhile. Or not basic book, but the setting book. Anyhow, Empire of the East, The Hunt for the Howling God, we'll check it out. And I would recommend going out and checking out Fred Saberhagen's trilogy. It's pretty wild. Apparently it's set in the same universe as his Swords books, like the Book of Swords Volume 1, book, I think is what they're called. They used to be super available in all the used bookstores that I would frequent, and now, of course, you can't find them now that I'm thinking about actually reading them. After I read Empire of the East and found out they were in the same setting, I thought, oh, I'll read more, I'll find out more about this, and of course now it's like more difficult. And I don't want to get the ebooks, I want to get actual physical copies of the books. Anyhow, that's it for today. Check out the usual, the links below. I'm sure there's some other videos. I've done plenty of videos on Dungeon Crawl Classics in the past, so I'm sure you can find something of interest there. Take care.